lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the PWCC Weekly Hockey Auction. Today is July the 16th, 2023. My name is Jeremy Lee. As always, thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for subscribing, listening to the new podcast channel on Spotify and Apple called Sports Cards Live Auctions. If you're listening to this on podcast, that's where you are doing it. Also, thanks everybody for subscribing to the Hockey Cards Gongshow. My co-host Josh Madigan. Let's bring him out. And there he is. Welcome back, Josh. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing awesome. It's beautiful Sunday night. Get to talk about hockey cards. Life can get better.
Life could be worse. No doubt about it. Let's get to it. Let's talk about some cards. There are 222 hockey cards on the PWCC Weekly Marketplace that ends tonight. And we have favorited about 41, not about 41, but exactly 41 of those items received a little star from Josh and myself. And we are going to jump in and get into them and talk about them. It is summertime, Josh. You know, NHL is over. The Stanley Cup has been handed out. The entry draft has happened. Free agency July 1st has come and gone. Is it feeling a little quieter to you on the hockey front right now, despite the fact that you and Troy are still pumping out two episodes of the Gong Show every week?
Well, on one hand, there's always stuff going on, but I do get what you're saying. We're kind of in this period that we would term the off-season dip, where interest and energy and prices to some degree tend to go down a little bit until they ramp up towards the end of August as we get into full anticipation of the start of the new season. I think it's been tempered a little bit because Upper Deck is still trying to catch up and is pumping out a lot of sets. So I think that's keeping some people interested. And in June, we had a number of good releases. But yeah, this is sort of the doldrums of the hockey year. We're in it for sure.
I think that, oftentimes when it is a slower time, and, it is summer holidays, people are traveling more. One thing I've always hated as a buyer is when the card I want is ending at a time such that like I'm on an airplane or I'm driving through the mountains and there's no connectivity on my phone. And you're like, oh, I missed the opportunity to buy that card because, and I want to bid at the end usually. So it comes down to when the auction ends. And so I always I always wonder what would have happened to a certain lot or item at auction if everybody who was interested in it was able to be present and bid at that time. And that's just not the way the world works. So in a way, having the opportunity to purchase during the summertime, as far as hockey, I mean, baseball, it's the thick of the season right now, all-star break, I guess, but they're making their way down the second half. But for hockey, there might be some deals to be had right now, and we'll find out more and more as the night goes on tonight and this week's auction ends and next week and the week after, et cetera, et cetera. Happy Hockey Sunday to you, Jacob Dahl, as always. Scotty Pope in the house. What's going on, Scott? Baz, the baseball card curmudgeon, is here. Good to see you, fellas. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Let's get into the items. Let's get into these hockey cards, everybody. We have 41 favorited, as you can see right here again, out of 222. Not to say there aren't more great items available, but these are the ones that we're choosing to focus on tonight. And we're going to start right away. Pre-war tobacco era 1911 C56. This is the Steve Vare copy. Now, not necessarily a Hall of Famer, not necessarily, a key card from the set, but personally, I am working on this set, and my requirements for it have been that every card in my set of this was going to be a PSA 5 or better. And I'm now kind of willing to to soften up and say, you know what, as long as the card presents well, I will go down and grade. But I wanted to look at this one and just, share with everybody, what does an EX5, a PSA 5, C55 card look like? And, this one's very nice. I can see right the centering, it is what it is. It's all very tough to find these much better centered than this copy. You can see it's a much narrower border over here on the left than it is on the right. You've got some typical corner wear here. This one actually, this top left corner, looking at it close, it almost looks like there's a bit of the piece missing. And that, I'm not sure about that. That it's either very serious wear or, that is certainly not a 90-degree angle. So I'm not sure if this card I really just don't know. Is this card appropriately graded as a 5, or should this particular corner have been more harshly assessed? I do not know the answer to that. I just don't. I don't know what the standard would be on a card like this from PSA's perspective. But as you come across the top border looks good. Top right corner, it looks good. There is some top surface loss there, but it doesn't really bother me as a collector. Bottom right corner, same thing, but more severe than the top right corner. And then the bottom left is a little bit nicer than the bottom right, or a lot nicer than the bottom right. Overall, the card seems to have a bit of surface wear through the shoulders here. You can see a little bit of that snow effect in the top red part of the sweater. But listen, these cards they're old. I still love them. And but this top left corner, just not too sure about that. I would need to really consider that one for my own collection. Slight registration issue here in the hair. But you know what? Overall, when I first looked at it, I thought this was a beautiful copy. As I zoom in, I'm not thinking it's not as beautiful as I once did think, but it's also not too bad. It's in a 5 holder, so take it for what you would like. Josh, what do you think?
I don't really know if there's much to add, because I think you did a really good job of going through this card. I think that upper left corner is a big detractor for me. I feel like part of the card is missing. That, to me, that's a little bit, it's that passes that very fine line of serious edge wear to maybe a chunk out of the corner.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I'm not really sure what to make of it either, but it's made its way into a PSA 5 holder, and that'll make a lot of people happy. Currently sitting at $310.
Yep.
Next, we're going to skip ahead about 12 years to the 1923 Patterson set, one of my favorite sets in vintage hockey. It is home to some key rookie cards, including Howie Morenz. And now this Joe Malone is not a rookie card, but the Joe Malone card is still a key card. His rookie card was the year before, I should say the set before, the C55s we were just looking at. He would be the key rookie from the C55 set. No more hockey cards until 1923. So this is like a second year card, or really just a second card. But I really like this card. It's in a VG3, which is, about what you can expect. This card, kind of looks better than the 5 that we were just looking at. Top edge looks decent. Corners not perfect, but not as bad as that C55. The left and right edges look really nice. Bottom corners have some slight rounding, but look pretty good. Centering is pretty good. I mean, left to right, it's off. Top to bottom, it's off, but it still presents very well. I really like this for a 3, I have to say. From what I can see here, Josh, really like this one for a 3, a VG3. What do you think?
Yeah, the only other thing I'm noticing is that on the top, it seems like there's a little bit of tilt, or I can never tell the difference, Jeremy, between a tilt and a diamond cut. But if you look at the upper left corner, the spacing there, as opposed to upper right corner, it's a lot wider on the right side. So something's going on up on the top of that card.
Yeah, I see it. I also see it on the right edge. I think this edge up here, this border is slightly narrower than down here. And then you would expect this to be narrower than up here. And I think it is a little bit. The other potential explanation for this, Josh, because I don't think it's diamond cut. It looks pretty square to me. But I actually wonder if, just because it seems to me like this is the case in a lot of these Patterson 1923 Pattersons. I wonder if this is just the way that this was printed. Like,
Maybe.
Is this border a perfect rectangle? Because this looks to be vertical. This looks to be flat side to side. This looks vertical, but this looks to be on a decline. This
Mhm.
doesn't. The bottom border around the portrait looks completely flat. If I even just move it down to the bottom of my screen, it's like I wonder if it's just the way this thing is printed, that is the way they are. So something to consider if you're going to look at some other copies. But a great, honestly, a beautiful card for the issue for sure, and one that
Yeah.
would be more than like I would welcome this into my collection faster than this one, and it's a
Yep.
lower grade. But again, that just does speak a little bit to grading inconsistencies as well. I have to think. Next up, we're going to fast forward 10 more years to the 1933 O-Pee-Chee. This is the Charlie Conacher. This is a PSA 2. Let's take a look at this copy. This is a Hall of Fame rookie. I believe it to be a key card, not the key rookie in the 33 O-Pee-Chee set. That accolade would go to Eddie Shore, and there's a few other really important ones, but this is still a key card. This looks really good for a 2, Josh, from the front anyway.
Yeah, I think we got to look at the back because I'm confused as of right now.
We probably do. I mean, zooming out, centering is really good. Like these are tough to find well centered. This is a very well centered card. Edges and corners all look good. There's likely like a crease or something somewhere, but I'm not spotting it from here. You have a couple of print issues. That dot right there, I don't think should be there. Same thing with there on the forehead, a couple more over here, a dot down over there. This just might be the ink on the back leak, like kind of coming through. I'm not sure, but yeah, have a look at the back of this one. Overall, and the front being more important, what a solid card. Oh God, okay, let's risk the bandwidth, Josh. I'm too
I know.
better of me here. Let's go see the back of this card and decide determine if there is something else that is causing the grade. I mean, the back doesn't look so bad. Let's have a look at the back. I'm going to close this window now to save us bandwidth. Yeah, the back looks great. Like even this doesn't bother me. Just some sort of stain, no big deal. Is there a crease coming up here maybe? Looks like a series of creases or wrinkles right over here.
Maybe.
We'll look to the front to see if we see them over there, right over there. So let's go over here and look down over here. I mean, I'm not really seeing it, but I think like there has to be crease or wrinkles on this card for the grade to be so low, considering how nice it is otherwise.
I agree.
There just has to be. But that said, I'm almost like, who cares? What an amazing opportunity to get a low grade, which means discounted price, or I shouldn't say discounted, but lower price for a card that presents so well from what we can see here, at least. Anything further on that, Josh?
No, I totally agree with you. If you just want a very, very nice looking 1933 Conacher and you're going to get probably pay close to a PSA 2 price, and nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Craig's Cards, what's up? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Cage Lawyer Minion, welcome to the show. Happy Sunday. And Jake Dahl says, the card I'm looking to get, I placed 3 bids, all outbid already. So I'm guessing now, what do I need to bid to get it? Or how high do I want to go? Well, Jake, if you want to let us know what it is, I mean, I guess I'd be happy to share my opinion, but you might not want to let people know what you're after in case, people want to bid against you. Let's move forward again from 1933 to 1951. We have a couple of 51 Parkhurst here. The Milt Schmidt, not a rookie, but a lot of people kind of consider it to be, even though it isn't. His rookie is from 1941 O-Pee-Chee, I believe it is, 40 or 41. It's an oversized card. And then you've got the Red Kelly rookie card in a PSA 7 near mint. Let's take a look at the Red Kelly first. I see Jake let us know what card it is. So the Red Kelly, this is nice, Josh. This is nice. Yeah. I mean, I like the color. I like the text. You can see it well. The centering is really nice. Look, I believe it looks to be full-bodied, my new 51 term I'm using. This is a really nice copy. Really nice copy. What do you think?
I think it's beautiful. Can you zoom in a little bit on the right side? I just wonder if it's a little fuzzy on the right, around the shoulder.
Right here?
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah,
Pretty
that.
full.
Are you talking about like a registration issue there?
Yeah, potentially, but I don't think so.
Yeah, so I think that there is I don't, you know what, it's hard, I don't know either, because I'm not seeing it really anywhere else, and his face is very
Yes.
crisp and focused, but there is no magenta plate right within the face. That's down here in the uniform. So I give it a pass. Personally, I would give that a pass for myself, and overall, I think it's a great copy. I have to sneeze.
Bless you.
Excuse me, everybody.
So do you put a Red Kelly in the top 10 of 51 Parkhurst?
Oh, yes, for sure. Yeah, he's in the top 10 cards from this set, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I would. And then we have a 54 Alex Delvecchio. It's a PSA 8, which is a really nice grade. And, you know, the centering's pretty bad on this as far as like an 8 goes, but it's just such a cool card. I thought we'd give it a little bit of attention here. So the centering, obviously it's situated low and to the left. And, you know, I want my 8s to have better centering than this, but look at how beautiful this image is. Like, this is a full painting on cardboard, obviously reproduced. You've got a couple of Toronto Maple Leafs here in the background, but look at like he's falling to the ice here, Josh, but he's not taking his eye off the puck. I just love this image. I don't know that I've ever given this particular card number 36 from 1954 a close look ever before in my life, until I saw it here in this auction. I thought, what a gorgeous card, just from a pure image perspective. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Am I off my rocker, or do you agree?
No, this is one of the cards that I featured on our show last week, and it really stood out to me. It kind of, to me, feels like a Norman Rockwell painting in a way, right? It's just sort of like, it's just not the natural sort of motion you typically see in cards, but there's something graceful and elegant. It looks like, I can't remember the guy's name. I looked up who was number 21 for the Maple Leafs in 1953-54, because it kind of looks like he tripped him maybe a little bit while skating by. And you're right, like Delvecchio is using his glove to brace the fall, but he's keeping his attention back on the ice. And I just think that if you like to collect Hall of Fame player cards and legends of the game, or you're a big Detroit Red Wings fan and one of your all-time legendary captains, that this would be a really fun card to own. I do agree with you, though, on the gray. I think the 8 is pretty generous, in my humble opinion, but it's an awesome card.
Yeah, it is awesome. I like that the borders have a bit of color toning to them. I like that. I prefer this color border compared to a nice crisp white one that looks fresh out of the pack. I just don't like that as much. I really do. I really like this. And, you know, you asked about Red Kelly being a top 10 card in 51 Parkhurst. The Delvecchio is also a top 10 card from the 51 Parkhurst, that being his rookie. You know, I forget where I was just listening to this, but I heard a conversation, some content somewhere, talking about how, you know, when it comes to vintage cards, second year cards, non-rookie cards, there's nothing really else to collect outside of a rookie card for a vintage player. But I dispute that comment. I mean, there are beautiful non-rookie cards of vintage players. You know, this one is an example. Never mind, even in baseball, you've got the second year cards with the all rookie, I forget what it's called, those little trophies, those little gold trophies on them. There's all sorts of non-rookie year vintage cards, all sports, that are very worthy of collecting. And you know, just don't let anyone tell you that they're not, because they can be beautiful, and you're gonna get them for cheaper than you would a rookie card. So I think there's a benefit to them right there, just from a cost perspective. $280 right now. So, you know, beautiful card. I would check comps, and I would also, you know, decide there might be a nicer 7 one day, or maybe this card is perfect for you. Have a look and make a decision. Okay, Jake, we will get to the Cup 2 of 3 rookie cup. Okay, I'm not sure what that. We'll get there. We'll get there, Jake. 1954 Parkhurst Jacques Plante in action. So the reason why I wanted to look at this card is because this is one of these like XRCs or pre-rookie Jacques Plante, because while the card isn't a Jacques Plante card, he is prominently featured on it right over here. There's Doug Harvey right over there. That looks an awful lot like Maurice Richard right over there. I'm not sure who this Maple Leaf is. Maybe someone can let us know. But what an amazing image again, Josh. Look at the centering on this one compared to the last one. The border is a lot wider. I'd almost like to combine the two cards, but this one I've seen even whiter than this. This is a beautiful card. Now, Plante's rookie card is 1955 Parkhurst, but he appears here on this 54. So, and I guess this is Sloan. I think Terry Sloan maybe from because it says it right here on the PSA label. So I love this card. I love this image. Now, it's not a card I'm going after because I have a Plante rookie, and this I don't consider a rookie. But if you want a complete collection of Plante cards, I would add this to that list. How about you, Josh?
Oh, I think it's a really cool card. Again, a neat image. I love the artwork. So much time and care was taken to create these, and I appreciate how you put it next to or right after the Alex Delvecchio, because man, it's crazy how different the border is on these cards, and they almost look like different sets. Now, I agree with you. I prefer with the more toning because it reminds me more of like the 51 Parkhurst and just feels a little bit older. But do you know, is that different stocks or is that just aging, or how are those so different?
I cannot speak with 100% confidence that it is not different card stock. I wouldn't expect it to be, but I can't say for certain that it isn't. I mean, who knows? Maybe at the Parkhurst facility, they ran out of they went through their first purchase of card stock, and then maybe they had to make another purchase to finish the print run, or maybe they were using some of last year's first and then went on to the new stock of stock, the new stock of cardboard stock to then put in the printing in the printing machine in the printers to create the cards. But I think it's the same thing. So
okay, so if you were collecting the 1954 set, would it bother you to have so much disparity in the background color and border color on the cards?
yes.
I think it would me too, that would be kind of an obstacle that you'd have to try to overcome in completing that.
Yeah, I would want consistency throughout, which would almost make the hunt a bit more fun, because not any old card will do. So yeah, I would, and I would probably lean towards this version, this toned, because it seems too clean to me. It's a beautiful card, but this speaks more to me. I look at this and it gives me the warm fuzzies. This
feels
one
more vintage.
Yeah, more vintage. That's a good way of saying it for sure. Yeah. All right. And then we have a series of these 1961 York Yellowbacks. So these are before I scroll through, we have a Tim Horton here, PSA 9, high grade. We have a Frank Mahovlich, PSA 9, Pop 14. We have a Red Kelly, PSA 9, Pop 11, only one graded higher. Henri Richard, Maurice's brother, Henri Richard. This is a PSA 10, Pop 3, and then a Boom Boom Jeffrey on PSA 9. Now, and also a Terry Sawchuk PSA 9 Pop of 18. So these seem to be, relatively easy to grade high. And I don't have a lot of experience with these. I've never owned one, but they look kind of cool. I almost wish the slabs were smaller, like the slab actually fit the item, the card, or the York whiteback. So you have whiteback, yellowback, white, and white. So I guess there were a couple different colors on the backs, but to me, I probably wouldn't care. I would just want to get the set yellowback, whiteback would be okay with me, because the fronts all look really nice and clean. But I just wanted to bring these to people's attention. What I would imagine is a very low cost opportunity to add some pretty cool looking pieces to these Hall of Famer collections. And you're getting full body shots on these on most. We got a couple portraits here, full body shots on these three. and a portrait there. So a combination, which is cool. But I don't know. They stuck out to me. I thought we'd take a look at them. What do you think of these stop sign shaped sports card artifacts, Josh, when you see them?
They're really interesting. And I honestly had never seen them before the auction this week. So what was York?
I think York was like a peanut butter company or something like. I think these would have been found in the top of a jar of peanut butter.
Gotcha. Are they fairly common? Like, are these stuff you would run into in Canada? You'd expect to see at a local show, or are they pretty rare?
Yeah, you're gonna see these at card shows in Canada. You're definitely gonna see them. I know I've seen them. I've kind of gone by them quickly. Usually I've seen them in like binders, and like dirty old unkempt binders with discolored sheets inside them, because the people that typically collected these are of that generation now where, they don't always restock or refresh their showcases and the binders and that stuff that they're using. So to find these nice clean copies, I think is a pretty rare find, I believe. But again, I can't speak to these with complete certainty. But I thought they were highlighting for tonight. Moving on, we have a Gretzky rookie. Let's take a look at this. It's an O-Pee-Chee and a PSA 1 holder, which is poor, PR for poor condition. And look right there. The first, it's got a nice hole right through it here. And this isn't just a thumbtack hole. This is somebody put that in the wall and really made sure that it wasn't going to fall off, I guess. So it's got a hole right through it, which is, at least the hole is right in the middle. It's nicely placed, I guess you could say, if we're trying to look at the positives of the hole. I'm going to go through and just tell you what I see. Top edge, some wear, rough cut and wear, I would say. The top corners are both rounded and have some surface corner wear. You see a crease or a bend or something right there. Creases throughout, a nice one right there, another nice crease right here. You got creases coming this way over here, big one over here, something happening over here, all the way down here. All sorts of, like this card was well loved, I would say. Bottom corners are rounded, all sorts of creasing here. So now all that said, and the centering, of course, is pretty way off to the right, but all that said, and please don't laugh at me, it still presents okay for a 1, despite the hole in it. Like, the color is good. The registration is like basically perfect, which is unfortunate. The rest of the card is in such bad shape because the registration is sharp. Like, look at that oil. Oh, wrong way. Look at this oil drop, you guys. Like, it's not perfect, but it's almost perfectly placed. You don't see, you see a little bit of white right there, which I didn't see at first. The legs are nice and sharp. And the word Oilers seems to be almost on the exact same plane as Edmonton, which I like. I think this is a good copy. It's a good copy. It's not good. Good is 2. It's a poor copy that looks good for a PSA 1, sitting at $350 right now. I mean, if you can get your head around a hole through the card, this is a decent opportunity, a decent option for you for a budget Gretzky rookie. Josh, let's hear from you on this one. I'll put it up over here.
Well, I think I prefer my Gretzky rookies without bullet holes. So that's my first point. And honestly, I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, but it as you're going through it, you do point out the registration seems spot on. And I was even focused on the oil drop in Wayne's jersey there and how almost perfect that is. What does a card have to look like? So if PSA would still grade this card and give it a 1 grade, at what point would they say no?
I think
we can't grade this.
Yeah, I think a hole is okay, but if this card were to be missing, like if you were to chop it off right here and be missing like that whole corner above where I'm drawing this imaginary line, maybe then, because the card isn't complete. It's not complete like this. I get it with this hole here, but at least you still have a complete rectangle shape. You're not missing any of the rectangle. If you were to cut off, 10% of the card on a 45-degree angle here. Maybe they would just call it authentic.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know what their standard is for that. And that's one of the challenges of being, a grading company that grades vintage cards. And, you have to I have to think that by now they've made up all the rules they need to as they go. But at the beginning, you have to think there were scenarios that they never saw before. Okay, how are we going to handle this particular combination of attributes of the card and damage, different types of damage and all that sort of thing? So I don't know, Josh, good question. But this one's at $350 right now, and I've seen worse Gretzky rookies, that's for sure.
I'm sure.
We also have a 1983 O-Pee-Chee Gretzky. Now, this one is low. Usually we only look at these if they're in a PSA 10 Gem Mint holder. But I just thought, look at this PSA label. Like, this is old. This is an old label, maybe one of the oldest, maybe the first version they ever had. I'm not 100% certain, but this looks like an old one. And but the grade probably seems right. And again, as we mentioned last week when we saw a PSA 10 of this version, one of my favorite Gretzky images of Gretzky on his 80s O-Pee-Chee cards. I just like how serious he is, waiting for that face-off to drop and then resume play. Any comments on this, Josh?
It's one of my favorite Gretzky cards. I just love it. It's a unique pose, getting down for the face-off, and love the card design. I think it's actually maybe an underrated Gretzky card. Maybe it doesn't get the attention it should. And you have to settle something for me and Troy. He's not listening, so it makes it great for me to ask this question. So Gretzky is very famous for his, is it Jofa or Yofa?
Oh, it's Jofa. Yeah, I heard you guys.
I calls it Yofa, and I look every time he says that, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's Jofa. Okay, so I win. So thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, I was listening to the pod, and every time I heard Yofa, I was like,
yeah, that's all right. And in Troy's defense, I make just as many mistakes as he does, but I love the Jofa.
That's why you guys are so aptly named the Gong Show.
Yes, 100%.
And, you mentioned this might be an underrated Gretzky. And I think, part of the reason might just be the set it comes from. 83 O-Pee-Chee is not a very popular set because of the quality of rookies from this year. You've got Bernie Nichols, Pelly Lindbergh, Brian Bellows, a couple more that I guess I'm just not thinking of right now. But there's no Steve Yzerman, there's no Mark Messier, no Mario Lemieux, no Patrick Waugh, no Brett Hull. It's one of the no Dale Hawerchuk like the year before, Ron Francis, Grant Fuhr. It's a weaker year for rookie cards, and I think that might hold back the overall set. But just an observation there. All right, speaking of a nice Gretzky card, I do love the 84. Look at this. This card the serial number is 04004210, and this is 04003337. Graded very close in time to the one above it, maybe from the same person's collection. The 84 O-Pee-Chee, one of my favorites, with the headshot in the bottom corner that is different from the headshot up here. Nowadays, they don't splurge on multi images. They'll just take this one, zoom in on it, and put it down here if they're going to do that. But overall, I love this card. Always have. I remember opening these as a kid, and it's a PSA 8. So a nice, inexpensive way into a Gretzky 80s base card. The Chris Chelios PSA 10 rookie card, $875 right now. We've seen several of these over the months we've been doing this show, Josh and myself. And then we have an 85 Topps Lemieux. Now, this has superior eye appeal designation by PWCC, so top 5%, and it's got the Mike Baker authenticated silver sticker. I think that being his second most important sticker. And just coming up here, the Gretzky rookie just got a bid going from $350 to $370. Let's take a look at the Mario Lemieux Topps PSA 8. And I mean, like this does, you look at this card and it looks gorgeous. Now,
I'm trying to find the flaw.
Yeah, right. Find the flaw. So centering wise, it might be a little situated a little bit high on from a vertical perspective, left to right. I'm trying to see, is there a minor degree of tilt counterclockwise? Maybe a little bit. This border might be a little narrower than down here, vice versa on the right side, but really minor. I mean, yeah, this card does look really good. And I'm not going to dispute either of these eye appeal designations because this thing is graded an 8. If it was a 9, I might say, maybe not, guys. If it was a 10, definitely wouldn't agree with the designations, but this is an 8. And what PWCC and Mike Baker is saying is that for the grade, this card is very strong. And if you are not able to tell that yourself, and you know these added these second and third opinions from third party opinion givers might give you that confidence that this is a really nice copy and maybe one that you'd be willing to add. It's at $600 right now for the 8. Josh, anything to add to this?
Yeah, I'm just looking up really quick the pop count of that card because I think that, yeah, so here's something that I think is really a significant kind of addition to what you were saying. So the pop on this is, oh, that's the tops. I'm sorry, hold on. I almost gave you an O-Pee-Chee number.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, the pop on that is 2,460. So when you're saying, so sometimes you get these top 5% and the pop is 15 and you're like, oh, okay. But out of 2,460 to be in the top 5%, that's a big deal. And as we've talked a lot about on this show, that there can be a wide spectrum of condition within a given grade with companies like PSA. And so, it appears this is a very strong 8.
Yeah, and I did the math. So 5% of 2,460 is 123, meaning that, I would think loosely PWCC is saying that this is one of the top 123, even though that's not what they're saying exactly, but of the whole population. And why I say not exactly, because it's what they have seen. They haven't seen all 2,460 of these, but of the ones they have, they're kind of estimating that this is in the top 5%. I might take it a step further because they don't have a top 1% eye appeal designation. And I'm not saying this falls in there, but it might. If this is one of the best, top 5%, even that 5%, there's 5% there to work with. It might be the number 1%. It might be. However, if that Mike Baker sticker was gold, I might think it was more likely to be in that top 1%. It might be in the top 3%. But in any event, we're just kind of speculating for fun right now and kind of describing how this whole thing works. I think it's
if I can add another quick point to that, Jeremy, maybe again to further illustrate how nice this copy could be. I'm looking at the sales, and I'll just read you off so last sale was of a PSA 8 tops, 1985 Mario Lemieux on the 2 days ago, $300. Sale before that, $350, $251 before that, $380 before that, $250, $310, $300, all US dollars, I should say too. And this is already at $600 before buyer's premium.
Yeah, I think that is the power of a nice looking card. And I'm going to say that's the power of a nice looking card. The power of the NBA sticker, the power of the PWCC eye appeal rating designation. You take all these three things together. The other thing is that it's not as expensive as a 9. So there's a lot of people that are like, I'll pay more money for a strong 8 because 9s are just too expensive. And maybe I think that there are some 8s that are nicer than some 9s. So a good opportunity to get in on a beautiful card at less than a 9, but you will be paying more than we've seen for any other 8 in a long time.
We'll see. Last 9 is $1,045. So we're still way below that, right? We're at $720 with buyer's premium, but there's a chance this one might get close tonight. We'll see.
Welcome back, Professor. Enjoying the doubleheader. Thank you for joining again. All right. We have a Sports Illustrated for Kids Wayne Gretzky, 1989, and a near mint PSA 7. And then two Pro Set cards, which the quality of these cards when they were made, I mean, these are made on thin paper, not thin paper, but thin cardstock. Like we talk about 35 point being your typical base card. These are probably 15. Like these were very, very skinny cards, as were SI for kids, because these had to go into a magazine and, you know, be able to turn and flip with the rest of the pages somewhat. They're thicker than those pages, but they're not as thick as a regular base card, I don't think. So a nice row here of, you know, poor quality manufacture, but still kind of cool cards. I do love the SI for kids Gretzky in all of its green bordered ugliness. I think it's pretty darn cool. But these two Pro Set cards, this is the first year of Pro Set, 1990. You got two of the most important players from that set, Gretzky and Patrick Roy, both in PSA 10s, $32 on the Gretzky, $13 on the Patrick Roy. This is only a pop 10. Surprises me, but also goes to show how few people deem Pro Set worthy of grading. That's really what that is telling you. It's not that it's a hard card. It's not. You could buy boxes of this still for $10 probably and find, you know, one of these in every 2 boxes along with everything else, maybe a hologram if you're lucky, and get it graded. So I don't know what the total population is. Like, what is the gem rate of this card? I'm not sure. Actually, I'm going to do a quick population search.
I got it for you. It's 25 have been graded.
25 total copies ever.
Yeah.
And 10 of them are gem min. So that's a 40% gem rate. Not low at all for a card from back then. So you can see only 25 people have deemed it important enough to submit a Patrick Roy Pro Set card to PSA. And I'm sure the Gretzky will be more, but not anything crazy. So listen, only 25. If you want your cards and PSA holders, these are like, listen, I was opening up these packs by the box load in 1991, and there's a part of me that would like to own these. There is a part of me that would like to own these cards. So good luck to the winners. I'll be happy for you on some nice cheap.
You want to take a guess as the Gretzky pop, what that is?
I'll take a guess. Yeah. 100.
Lower.
80.
Lower.
50.
72.
72.
Out of 224. So
224. I was going total. So 224 of the submissions of the Gretzky versus only 25 of the Patrick Roy.
And 72 PSA 10s.
So I was way low. I thought that there would be maybe 4 times the Gretzky's than there was Patrick Roy, but it was actually 10. So I was way off.
And I actually think, so this card hits like right in my childhood collecting days. I remember going to the local gas station and buying these packs too. And they were kind of the plastic, very similar to the, I know this is the basketball, but the NBA, the 89 NBA hoops, where you would look for the David Robinson by the top or bottom card, because you could kind of see through it. And, for what it's worth, especially the Gretzky, I think it's actually a nicely designed card. It's not a bad looking card, I don't think. And I know it's Pro Set, but yeah,
it's not. The design isn't that bad. It's the look and feel. Like when you hold these cards, they just feel like they feel low quality, compared to what we're used to nowadays. But back in the day, they were fine. I loved them back in the day. We also have a Mario Lemieux PSA 10, so you can really pick up the 3 main superstars. And then if you want to go deeper, you can get it. You could then go into the Yzermans and the Sakic's and the Medanos and, go down from there. But a nice opportunity to pick up these 3 guys in PSA 10s and just have that off your want list, or off your, I'm sitting here like feeling all nostalgic about these, Josh, thinking, man, maybe I should I'm not gonna, but maybe I should grab these 3 cards for $100 and be done with it, and just have them. Because you think we always talk about showing our cards to friends when they come over. Most of our friends that would come over will remember these more than they remember the stuff we're picking up from, the 2000s and 2010s.
They're not going to know what a limited logos is. They're going to know what that stupid Wayne Gretzky card is.
They're going to look at those and think, oh yeah, that's cool. But, you got the Pro Set? I remember. Like that's where they're going to focus on. And for that reason alone, it might be fun to have them. So
100%.
Yeah. All right, we've seen these in a couple weeks in a row now. The Score Canadian Jagr and Brodeur rookie and PSA 10 holders. I think 2 weeks ago we had the Canadian versions, and they were doing about that $50 each, if I recall. So 40 on Jagr right now, 46 on Brodeur. Again, the Canadian version says Score in red and has French in the back, whereas the US version has Score in blue and no French on the back. Those are the only differences between the two sets, the Score Canadian and the regular Score, also known as Score US. So another opportunity to pick up junk wax rookie cards of extremely important players. So go for it if you'd like.
Well, consider this for a second. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Jagr, I get it. Junk wax era. But pop $968, $50. Connor McDavid, Young Guns, PSA 10, pop $2,500, $3,500. Right? If you just a hockey fan, somebody that didn't know hockey cards, and it's kind of what makes the hobby great, but it makes no sense. And I think it really illustrates how much value is perceptive in this hobby.
You know what you just gave that comparison in terms of population of the Score Jagr versus the Young Guns Connor McDavid. I think what I would find really interesting, trying to keep it apples to apples, and just bear with me, this might seem off, but I think it makes sense. I would like to know the total population of Jagr rookies, O-Pee-Chee Premier, Upper Deck, and Score, and compare that total population to Connor McDavid Young Guns only. Because right now, the Young Guns is like the everyman's card, as we call it, the liquid card, the commodity card. After that, there's just not another card that falls into that class with the Young Guns. Like, there are other great cards and better cards, but you can even look at his MVP rookie or his victory rookie. Those are just kind of maybe the pro set of the year, but not quite the Score Upper Deck or O-Pee-Chee Premier. So
it's like 5,500.
Say again?
5,500
for Jagr between O-Pee-Chee Premier, Score, and Upper Deck. 5,500.
O-Pee-Chee Premier is like 3,500 and roughly 1,000 for Score and Upper Deck. But if you're going to keep it apples to apples, right, we got to add McDavid's BGS Gem Mins, which gets him up to 10,000.
Then you'd also have to add the BGS for these guys as well.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Right. Which I think would have a lower impact, I think, but maybe not. I mean, BGS was a very popular grading company when people were getting these cards graded, these modern cards. So there might be more BGSs.
My hypothesis or thesis is not that this card should be worth more than the McDavid Young Guns. I'm just saying that the gap doesn't make sense.
No,
$50 and $3,500, right?
Yeah, so I'm not saying that it should be worth more. I just wonder. I'm just curious on that comparison, and I still think when you add all this stuff up, Josh, that you're gonna come to the same conclusion you originally came to.
Yeah, and it's just perceptively we view the junk wax era as junk, right? It's got junk in the title, so that's what it's gonna be hard to spend $2,000 on a rookie card for the junk wax, even though I guess the Griffey rookie, and there are some outlier examples, but he's such, and I'm mainly speaking about Jagr, he's such a massive impact to the game, an important part of hockey's history. It's just sad that his rookie cards sell for $50.
It is. It's
but it is what it is.
It's a function of the era for sure.
Yep.
And the same thing goes for Brodeur. Definitely. Name, welcome to the party. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for joining. All right. Let's go to the second page here. I'll just scroll to the top. We'll come back to these ones after. Page 2. We got the Lindros here. Just got a bid to $40. So that goes with the Jagr and the Brodeur on the previous page. We've got the Alexander McGillney Upper Deck PSA 10 rookie. I thought, made him the thumbnail for the episode today also.
Yeah.
Because he was snubbed from the Hall of Fame and deserves to be in, and I think he will be. And, a junk wax rookie card, but it's McGillney, and he just doesn't have a lot of cards overall that people can choose to collect from. So a nice card. Josh, any thoughts on McGillney or Lindros?
Yeah, just junk wax era cards. I think cool cards to, I guess the good side of it is you can pick them up fairly cost effectively. And if you just want to appreciate these players or you want to collect legendary players from your team, pretty awesome to be able to do that.
Definitely. All right, let's go on to this Wayne Gretzky autograph card from 1999 Upper Deck Ovation. It's called the Super Signatures. It's numbered out of 50. And let's zoom in and take a look at this thing, how nice looking it is. I would like to zoom in and just zoom in a little bit on the auto. I mean, the auto looks wonderful. I can only see a couple of like spots where maybe right there and over here where the ink didn't connect, but I mean minor right there as well. Overall, a wonderfully big autograph there, hand numbered out of 50, number 6 of 50, full action body shot right there. He's wondering what just happened. He's looking up there, what happened here? Not sure what that facial expressions means, but he doesn't look too pleased. The condition, hard to really assess. It's not graded. It's simply certified authentic by MBA, and that's just something that PWCC does with all of the rare cards, is really just make sure these aren't counterfeited. But this one certainly, I shouldn't say certainly, but would be very difficult to counterfeit as it is. Upper Deck does have security features and then the autograph and everything as well. So, but a really nice card overall, $430 as it sits for an autographed Gretzky card. Josh, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, well, first thing I want to do is just take a second to throw Wayne a little appreciation for a guy that's probably signed his name. How many times do you think? 500,000 at least. The care and consistency that he's put into his autograph. I mean, imagine if his autograph sucked, what the impact that would be on the hobby. So a lot of appreciation to him for doing that. And it just shows you, to me, it's an indication how much he values people and the people that have watched and supported him and been fans of him. I'm a sucker for hand numbered cards. I don't know. I just like them. And then what I found really interesting about this card too is, I think it was now a day or two ago, Upper Deck announced Ovation is coming back as an EPAC exclusive product soon. And I was not active in the hobby last time Ovation was a set, so I was hoping you would take a minute and just kind of give me the quick rundown on Ovation. Like, is it a high-end set, a low-end set, a middle tier? What's the story around Ovation?
I can't do that, Josh. I don't know. It wasn't a product that I was familiar with. I didn't buy any of it. I don't know much about Ovation at all. I'd like to lean on the chat. If anyone in there can give us some more information on Upper Deck Ovation. I can tell you what, it was not a high-end product. I'm pretty certain about that. I don't recall it being a high-end product. I just don't know. I don't know. Okay. 2-cent Hockey Card says, do you think Jágr's eventual entry into the Hall of Fame is already factored into his prices? Yes, they are. I think they are. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be a bit of a bump, when his year of eligibility is upon us, which must be around the corner. I think you might see a bit of a bump because he will just be in the media more and more, and it will be a big deal for Jágr. I mean, he's an all-time great. But then I think, within a couple of weeks of the Hall of Fame induction, you'll see them come back down to probably where they are right now, or, where they would have been, just time factor in for when that is going to happen. So I do think so, 2-cent. I do think so. Anything further on that, Josh?
No, I would just add that the values of his junk wax era rookies are not reflective of, I think, his hobby esteem, because you look at a lot of the more modern cards that may be patch autos of his, they go for a lot of money, or even some of the late 90s inserts that are scarce or low numbered. There's a very healthy Jágr collecting market out there, and you see record sales quite often. It's just those rookie cards fall in that time period that the hobby places little value on.
Well said. Okay, let's move along here. We have, this was interesting, Josh. I'd never seen this before. 2001,
Yeah.
Russian Ice, Alex Ovechkin, Young Lions, must have been the team name, I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. If you translate it, PSA 9. I mean, this is 3 years before his draft year, 4 years before his first, real NHL cards. You can tell that's him. That is a young Alex Ovechkin. This is just a card I've never seen before. And I thought it was interesting to look at. Bidding's up to $210. And I'm wondering, like, the people bidding on it, have they seen this card before? Do they know what it is? Or are people just looking to pick up what is a pretty, unique, different Ovechkin card? Josh, are you checking population by chance?
No, I can. I was looking more at prices to see what these typically sell for, but in just a second, shouldn't be too hard to find.
I'm checking the pop myself here, see if I can get it. Population 21 with 23 graded higher. And the PSA app does have a estimate value of $361 for this Mint 9. So I don't know where they get that from or what it means. It might come from Card Ladder, but I'm not certain of that. So in any event, a neat card I've never seen before. What were your thoughts on this when you first saw it?
Yeah, very similar. I thought it was really interesting. And I like you, was curious, like, is this just something I don't know about and everybody else does? It appears Young Lions is similar to a Young Guns, where
Okay.
so there's a Ilya Kovalchuk from the same year, Young Lions, Igor Grigorienko, and a couple other guys too that I don't know if ever played in the NHL. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of interest in Ovechkin if you want sort of an off the wall or oddball card that, this is something I think if you got for a good price now and the week he breaks the scoring record, you eBay that sucker, you could probably do well. Not investment advice, but or you just want some kind of weird pre-NHL Ovechkin card. It's pretty cool.
All right, well, let's move on. 2003 Topps Pristine Refractor, Marc-Andre Fleury, PSA 9, Pop 6, 3 graded higher. And I'm a fan of this 03 Topps Pristine set. I really do like it. And these cards are really nice and shiny, and the refractors especially are beautiful. So a nice card. And we know some Marc-Andre Fleury collectors out there. I wonder if any of them will be going for it. Josh, any comments on that before we talk about this Ovechkin?
I really like the Fleury as well. It's a very cool card.
It is cool. BGS 10, Parkhurst from 2005, Ovechkin rookie, sitting at 775. This is a low-end Ovechkin rookie, but it's in a very high-end slab. So this is a case of grading scarcity. You don't see a lot of BGS 10s. I do not know the population. PWCC did not add it here in the subtitle, so we don't know what the population is of this card, but I believe it's going to be pretty low. BGS 10s are tough to find, and I don't think this is a card that was submitted for grading as much as some of his other cards. So, an opportunity perhaps to get a not often graded Ovechkin rookie in super high grade. Now, I might be wrong with those assumptions on grading frequency, but Josh, would you have any additional comments?
Yeah, I was just pulling up my show notes because we talked about this card quite a bit on last week on our show. It's a Pop 18 out of 361 submitted to BGS. 5%. So pretty scarce copy of that card. And
hey, Josh,
yeah,
that's a 5% P rate, pristine rate. The P rate. Yeah. Sorry, please continue.
P rate, love it. And then to us, the big discussion was, again, sort of, we talk about these kind of cards a lot, the Young Guns sort of alternative, right? Where you're looking at $5,000 for a Young Guns PSA 10 that I believe the pop right now on that is something like 1,100, or I know it's over 1,000. And could you get this card for I think last sale was like $1,230, right? And so it's just kind of a nice, if you want an Ovechkin rookie that and I don't know, I kind of always have an affinity for paper cards too. There's this part, I'm a big fan of O-Pee-Chee paper, and I don't think this is a bad looking card. So and a pop 18, that's pretty tough.
Pretty low. Yeah. Okay, let's continue on. The Sport Royalty Sidney Crosby autograph card. Now, this is a shorter card. It's not full sized. It's a little narrower. It's more of a square shape than an overall 2.5 by 3.5 inch card. But I've seen these in person. They're really nice. I like the light baby blue background. It's a throwback to the 33 Sport Kings design. You've got these little shadows at the bottom here of different poses of hockey players. And it's a pop 12, 10 graded higher. It's a BGS 9 with a 10 autograph. I mean, this is a nice $230 Crosby autograph card. It's going to go for a bit more probably, but it's a nice card. What do you think, Josh? Have you seen this before?
No, but I've always appreciated Gaudy, right? It harkens back to the 33 Babe Ruth, right? That's kind of the impression that you very much the vibe and look and feel. And it's kind of cool. It's something you don't see every day. I wish the centering was a little bit better, but I'm being nitpicky there.
We just got to go do this. We got to go look for Jake Dahl's Taylor Hall. I thought we were watching it, but we weren't. So we're just going to go do a quick search for that Taylor Hall card, because cards are starting to sell. We're past the first half hour of extended bidding. And let's just go to hockey here. Let it refresh again for us. And we should be able to search just in here. I guess we got to go up here. Could have left it on the last page. Taylor Hall weekly. Nothing is coming up. Does that mean that it already sold? No, it must be this one right here.
There. Yeah,
it's right here. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's right there. This is the 1 out of 3 that Jake Dahl was talking about. I mean, this isn't a rookie. I think, Jake, you called it a rookie before, maybe? Did you say? Yes, you said rookie cup. This is not rookie year, Jake. So please make sure you know that. If you were bidding on this one or thinking about it, know that this is not a rookie year card. His rookie year is 2010. This is 2014. A beautiful card nonetheless. And at $66, I don't know how you can go wrong, even though it's not a rookie. So take it for what it is. And he's now going to be playing with Connor Bedard. Is it him? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it is him.
Yeah,
it's Connor. Yeah. He's in Chicago now. Should be playing with Connor Bedard. Could see renewed interest in Taylor Hall cards. That is a possibility. So I would, if this is a card you covet, Jake, if you're still there, I wouldn't hesitate to bid again if it's in your budget, for sure. Okay. Here we have a Jonathan Tavares gold RPA, numbered out of 91. BGS 8.5, 10 auto, $575. Nice 3-color patch. This is actually like logo patch. This is the puck on the Islanders logo. It's just up on its side. It's usually like flat. It's not put in the, if it was turned 90 degrees, it would be the way you see it on the jersey. A very cool card though. And his true RPA is out of 99. This is the gold parallel of the true RPA. Really cool card. If you're a Tavares fan, this is almost a no-brainer. $575 seems like a good price to me. What did you think of this one, Josh?
I think it's a cool card, and maybe you can help me out a little bit too at Tavares, because I have a really hard time wrapping my head around him. I understand his pedigree coming into the NHL, and I know that he has a following and he has a collector base, but where do you put him? Has his career been a disappointment to some degree, or I don't know. I just have a hard time like finding sort of like where he fits in like the tiers of kind of the hobby elite.
there was a time when it was like him and Stamkos were the two main guys in the hobby. Like outside of Crosby and Ovechkin, for current players, it was Tavares and Stamkos. They were the two guys for a while there. There were other key guys, Kane and Taves, Carey Price would have been one of those guys as well. But he was right up there. He was the hobby darling for a while. He was the number one guy in the hobby for a period of time. When he was with the Islanders, he had a big collector base. Then when he pissed off the Islander fans by not signing there, not staying there, and he went to Toronto, and he kind of got buried by all their younger, more star-studded players like Matthews and Marner. That hurt him from a collecting standpoint. He's the captain there, though, not Matthews, not Marner. It's Jonathan. It's Jonathan Tavares. It's the captain there. So, but as we know, you can be hot one year and not so hot 5 years later. Taylor Hall, another great example. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's helpful. He's still a great player. Is he a Hall of Famer? No, not yet. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. And, if the Toronto Maple Leafs can win a cup, I think that would do a lot to help him out. Mm-hmm. I do love this card here. These rookie reviews that came out, there were 4 different years that SPL reviews. The beautiful thing about them is that they were most often game-worn patches, on-card autos. You got a full body shot of the player in his rookie year. So I really like these rookie reviews. They're not rookie cards, but they're rookie themed cards. And from 2009 SPA, Pavel Datsyuk, $264 for a card of 100 in an SGC 10 holder. I think this card sold well. I think that it I don't think that it sold for a steal. I think it sold well, and I think it's a beautiful card. I used to collect this set. I threw in the towel a long time ago. I just had other things going on, but I do love rookie reviews. And I, to this day, still have one complete set of them in my collection from a different year, though. Josh, what are your thoughts on it?
I think this might be my favorite card in this week's auction.
Oh, nice.
I really like it. Yeah, I think you put it very well. It's just a cool card.
Beautiful. They are beautiful, for sure. Name says, what you're saying is that Tavares got buried by the young Lions of Toronto. Well,
there you go.
That's what we're talking about. Jake says, I meant on the baseball when you were talking about the trophies on second-year players. That's what I meant about rookie cup. Oh, yeah, totally mixed your two comments into one there, Jake. Yes, thank you. The rookie cups on the second-year baseball cards for sure. 3 cards that have sold. We had 2 BGS 9.5 McDavid's, 1350 and 1260, and then I always want to keep a tab on Matthew Tkachuk, Gen Mint 10 did 144. It's come down a bit more since last time, I think. We looked at it, but this is the summer doldrums, guys. Like, come next season, I could see this card. I could see it. I'm not saying it's going to, but I could see this doubling in value plus if he had play with the opposition, because to me, he is one of the most complete game perspective. I saw a post on Twitter today. If you could have any player on your team, who would it be? And I had to answer Matthew Tkachuk with like an ouch thing because I had him on my team and now I don't. Yeah. All right. This is a Cale Makar SPX autograph rookie. Now it's a second, like it's not out of the pack autographed. It's a in-person autograph, I believe. Beckett Authentication Services has authenticated the card. The card itself is out of $199. Now, I don't think that this is a pack pulled autograph. Do you know if it is, Josh?
I don't believe so. It doesn't look like it, just with the design of the card, but I could be wrong.
No, you're right. You're not wrong. You are right, because it would say congratulations.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. So here's the card itself right here. Now this is a nice card, $78 right now. But again, not a pack pulled autograph. So if you're okay with some like in IP and person autographs or through the mail autographs, it's at least slabbed and certified authentic by BAS, Beckett Authentication Services. So take it for what it is. Up to you if you want to buy it, of course, just like every card in the auction is. So but it's still alive and it's at $78. And it is a rookie card. It is a Makar SPX rookie, which is pretty cool as well. Like if this was a pack pulled rookie autograph out of 199, this would probably be like, what do you think? $750, Josh? Maybe a bit more?
Maybe something like that. And I actually think that that's a kind of a good buy. I mean, the autograph isn't perfect where, of course the card wasn't designed to have an autograph, so it's going to be a little lost in the card. But the biggest challenge with any in-person autograph card is always, is it fake? And here you got it's authenticated by Beckett, so you can have reasonable assurity that the autograph is authentic. And I mean, if you wanted a kind of a cool looking card and a Cale Makar rookie auto, you're not going to do any better than this on price, I don't think.
And a nice, bold, thick blue Sharpie autograph helps it out. Speaking of bold autographs, now this sold for $528. It's a buyback. Upper Deck Showcase Wayne Gretzky, numbered 10 of 10, NBA authenticated, which is good to know because it's not graded. So the card is authenticated. I don't know if the autograph is by NBA as well, but I don't think you need to worry. It's an Upper Deck buyback, so it's authenticated by Upper Deck. There's likely a certificate of authenticity as well to come along with this that would be in the same shape of the card. A really nice autograph. Like that gold ink is laid down absolutely perfectly. I love that autograph. It looks good on the card. It ties into the foil on the card. This is a nice looking piece, Josh. What do you think? Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you think?
Really love this card, and I got to ask you to do a favor because there's something on the back that confused the heck out of Troy and I on our show when it came to this card. You'll see when you pull it up.
All right, let's open it up for you right now. Yeah, it's the certificate because it's not the back of the card. That's my guess. Let's have a look and see what we see. Yeah, so you're looking at this image here?
I know. I want to look at a clean version without the NBA. So it's got the hologram for the autograph on it. But here's what confused me. From what I understand how buybacks work is that this was like an 04 Hall of Fame showcase card. How is buyback 2019-2020 buybacks printed all over the back of this card?
Well, this isn't the card. What you're looking at is that separate certificate that is inserted into the One Touch with the actual card. This is not the back of the card.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you don't, so you'd have to remove that from the, so you can actually see the back then.
You'd have to remove this sticker, open up the One Touch, see the inside, open up, there will be two objects that will come out of this One Touch.
Gotcha.
The card, and that's why this hologram is so big, because there will be a matching hologram on the back of the card itself.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what that's all about. Ultimate autograph card. Really nice looking card. I really like the design of Upper Deck Ultimate in almost every year, maybe except 06-07. Gorgeous autograph. He did sign it a bit over the stick, which had gloss on it, so you see a bit of the bubbling there, but not the end of the world. Overall, very, very nice looking card, and just a nice Hasek auto. Sold for $84. Josh, anything on that one from you?
Really, really like it. Love that kind of vintage Sabres uniform that he's in, and what a cool card for about $85. Not a bad deal.
Definitely. Larry, you're the what? You are the what, Larry? Good to see you, though. Welcome to the show. Professor says, thanks for the comment. Josh picked up the Pavel Datsyuk. Oh, Professor. I love that card, too. Like, it is beautiful. And I love rookie reviews, so very nice. Jake, sorry to hear you missed the Taylor Hall. Unless you are okay missing it, then spend that money elsewhere. We finally have a 2021 Upper Deck Goodwin Champs Gretzky Fanimation, sold for all of $30 in a PSA 9. I mean, you can't grade this for $30, I don't think.
Nope.
Now, listen, let's have a look. I mean, this is not the best looking card of Gretzky. He looks like needs a walker, first of all. He looks like he needs a walker. So he looks in his 60s. Not that people in their 60s need a walker, but just look at him here. The jersey is Arab, first of all, it's obviously an artist rendition, but They don't have the logo on the chest, licensing issues. I'm not a huge fan of this background design with these yellow and red stripes. So that's kind of good win. But it is Fanimation. Fanimation has some equity in our hobby, but it's almost like from a design perspective, Upper Deck and Goodwin, they had to okay, let's sacrifice the brand equity in the name Fanimation by making the card pretty darn ugly, if I might speak from my own personal opinion. And I don't know that I would have wanted to impact the Fanimation brand by even including them in the set. I think I would have tried to do something different and keep Fanimations as awesome. Yeah, really, really interesting card. And I'm not surprised that it sold for all of $30, which is almost an embarrassment for the great one himself. So, but to Mitch's question here, the only thing I can think of, Mitch, is that this is from either two things, Mitch. Either he's not wearing number 21, and this is purely an artist rendition based on some other photograph because it's from the year 2021 Goodwin, or he did wear this in some match in 2021 where everyone wore jerseys that reflected the year of this charity game or whatever it is. That's all I can think of, Mitch. I don't know any better. Josh, what are your thoughts on the card, the Fanimation, Mitch's question, all these things?
Yeah, I think it's an unfortunate card. And I like Fanimation. I have a bunch of the old basketball ones, and of course I have a bunch of hockey cards too. But what you'll hear a lot is, so if anyone like me tends to complain that, or wish, or opine that Upper Deck had a Downtown or Color Blast or Kaboom equivalent, because I really feel like that, and I'm sure they're trying. It's not like they're not trying to have that. A common retort will be, well, we have Fanimation. And I just don't think Fanimation is, as much as I like it, it's not on the same plane as those cards. And so I think it's kind of tricky where most people you talk to will give it a lot of respect, but the values don't ever seem to be very high either.
I think, I agree. I think part of the reason why it's not on that same level as the Color Blast and what were the other two you listed there?
Like Kaboom or Downtown, right? Some big time chase.
Downtown. Those cards are all printed on a much higher quality stock.
Yeah, and Fanimation are canvas, right?
Fanimations are printed on canvas stock or just like a high gloss paper stock. I think the better hockey version of Color Blast, Kaboom, Downtown are the 16 bits from Allure. That's where I've gone to get my Panini version of a nice Easter egg or case hit type of card that you mentioned.
That's been a big one, or maybe like Jambalaya you could throw in there, or something like that provides that big chase. So
the only reason I wouldn't use Jambalaya, I do respect that call, is that they existed before Color Blast, Kaboom, and Downtown.
And their roots weren't in hockey; they were a basketball card, and then kind of
they just been around
commandeered
since the
by hockey. I get that.
So, but otherwise, I agree. I do.
But in general, I do like the Fanimation, and where I think that you've already pointed out, and what's really important with Fanimation is that the artwork is really important, and some of the more recent ones I haven't loved. Like I love the old, and maybe it's because I'm kind of like a comic book nerd too, but I love the old basketball ones when they had Larry Bird kind of as a superhero, and to me that fits the whole Fanimation motif better.
Yeah, I agree. I hear you for sure. All right, well, that's enough ragging on this Gretzky Fanimation card. So Larry says he was the high bidder on the Makar, but now the underbidder. So we're talking about this one, right? We must be talking about this one here, Larry. That's the only Makar we've talked about tonight. So, but now the underbidder says, I was just as you were talking about it, it was extended with about 0.2 seconds left.
Oh, no.
And Mitch says the rare inserts in Synergy look amazing in hand. Synergy I think, is an amazingly produced set. I just like a lot about it. There's some I don't like, to be honest. There's a few cards I just don't love the the design, but the base cards to me are like the best base cards in the hobby. They're high tech. I mean, I just think they're super cool. And by base cards, I mean not the true base that are out of like 20, but the colored variations that aren't numbered. I've got, and just to show anybody who's wondering, because I have here's a Mike Gartner right here to show you what I mean by tech. You got like a hollow foil surface on this part of the card here that is die cut with a very interesting die cut, even with a hole in the die cut for another image of his face. Let me just put my thumb behind there. Another image of his face in the acetate. So you've got die cut hollow foil cardboard on top of an acetate backing, which is red in most places, but this is one solid acetate back. Really cool base cards from Synergy.
Can I give you my theory on Synergy, or my issue with it? And I really like it too. We've opened up a couple boxes. I'm starting to have this theory about sets, because you think about like, well, why isn't Synergy more popular? And the term I've been noodling is identity card. I don't know if it's so you have like, what's the identity card of SP Authentic, right? We all know Future Watch Auto. What's the identity card of a flagship? It's the Young Guns, right? What's the identity card of the Cup? It's the True RPA, right? And so I think for a set to really kind of catch with collectors, you have to have that identity card. And when I look at sets like Trilogy or Synergy, every time I open them, I like the cards. And I really appreciate the designs and the technology and all the stuff they put into them. But I just don't know what that identity card would be for that set.
Yeah, I think it should be the true base, which is this card here, but with a clear acetate instead of red, and then numbered out of the year. So if this is 20, 22, 23, I believe the true base cards will be numbered out of 22. And I have some of those from prior years, and I love them because they are these technology cards, hollow foil die cut cardboard over acetate, but there's only 22 of each player made. There's not a lot of them, but that's still pretty darn cool. To me, that would be the identity card. I don't think that it has caught on as the hobby recognized identity card like you.
And I would agree with you. Because I know exactly about the base cards, and that it's sort of but I wonder, and I'm not disagreeing with any of this. I'm trying to answer the question, why is this set not more popular? And if it's kind of like, well, if we look at the Jaromir Jagr Score Canadian, we say, well, that's a junk wax era card. That can't be worth much. Is it counterintuitive to the hobby for a base card, right? Where they're kind of purposely saying, well, we're trying to flip it on its heels here, where base cards typically don't have any value. Now in this set, base cards are the cards that have all the value. Is that's just going to be too nuanced of a thing for the hobby to understand?
No, I'll tell you why. Because SP Game Used did that with its base cards starting several years ago now. And those rookie cards caught on as very popular. So I think that they did that with SP Game Used before they did it with Synergy. So I think that kind of, broke the ice with the hobby, at least in hockey. And then collectors kind of followed suit. Okay, we're doing it for Trilogy now, but we're making the base cards, out of a constant number. In SP Game Used, they were out of the player's jersey number as a base card. Whereas with Synergy, it's out of the year. As Mitch says here, he says here, the identity cards of Synergy, I think, will be the true base out of 13, which is this year's, I guess, are out of 13, because the first year they did them, they were out of either 8 or 18 or 9 and 19 the second year. Now they're out of, I guess, 13 and 22. So, and I don't know how they've evolved, but I get it for the most part. And I agree with Mitch, though. I think that Synergy base cards are going to be coveted down there, like 10 years from now. I can see people be like, those were cool. Those were cool. He goes on to say, obviously not that many people can chase them, but I think they will eventually command a high demand. I agree. I do too. And I've been of that mindset for 5 years now and have stockpiled a few of them. Not a ton, but a few, definitely. He says future watches only recently began to command these crazy values. I think it just takes some time. Well, future watches were always up there compared to other cards. Like, you know, when a Sidney Crosby Young Gun, PSA 10 Young Gun was selling for $300, the SPA was selling for like $800, sort of thing. So they've always commanded more. I don't know that I agree with Mitch that it's a recent thing, because I've been buying Future Watch autos since 2003. And as far as I can remember, they've always commanded more money than like the next level product. Okay. Well, listen, it looks like things have ended, but Josh, look at the BGS 10 Pristine Parkhurst Ovechkin.
Wow.
That's going for $1,800. So that's healthy.
Very healthy.
That's definitely healthy. 110 on the Fleury Refractor, 276 on the pre-rookie Ovechkin. Lindros does 48, McGillney 37, 516 on the Gretzky autograph, 300 only on this Crosby auto, 690 on the Tavares. The professor bought this Datsuk for 264. We saw those already. We've seen these. Oh, the Makar is still going actually at $86, so that's still alive. And on page 1, 492 on the Steve Vare, 960 on the PSA 3 Malone. Nice to see. A beautiful 3. And we looked at the mick. Beautiful 3. I think we looked at the back. Conacher in a PSA 2 did 360. The Mike Schmidt Milt Schmidt did 174. Red Kelly 1500 for the 7 above average eye appeal rating. Del Vecchio from 54 did 336, while the Jacques Plante XRC, I'll call it, did 432. You guys can see what these York yellowbacks and whitebacks did. Nothing over $200, most in that $100 range. 456 on the PSA 1 O-Pee-Chee with a hole in it, the bullet hole, as Josh called it. The Chelios did 1,200. 720 was a final bid on this beautiful PSA 8 Topps Mario Lemieux rookie. $30 on the Gretzky PSA 7 SI for kids. And you could have picked up all 3 of these Pro Set 1990 Superstar cards for $95. Under $100.
Wow.
$95 for all 3 of them if you wanted. The Score Yager rookie does 48, while the Brodeur does $62. So some fun stuff for sure. Mitch says future. Oh no, same comment. Sorry, Mitch. We already addressed that one. But yeah, there we go, guys. There's your July 16th PWCC Marketplace weekly hockey auction coverage from Josh Madigan of the Gong Show, myself, Jeremy Lee of Sports Cards Live. Josh, any parting comments before we end this?
No. Hopefully everyone has a great week.
Yeah, have a good week, everybody. Thank you again for joining as always. I don't think we're going to be doing this episode next week, and unfortunately, nor the week after. I will be at the National. So check back with us for this in August. But lots of action on the Sports Cards Live YouTube channel between now and the beginning of the National, like tons of action. So check out the channel. I will be live a lot between now and the 24th, which is Monday before the National. The Gong Show dropping an episode later tonight, Josh, early tomorrow morning.
3 a.m. tomorrow morning.
3 a.m. Check out the Gong Show. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week ahead. Be safe. And we will see you all next time. Thank you so much, Name. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks, Josh.
Bye, guys.
This episode is over.